Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. Okay, so today's video is going to be coming back around to the Great Wall of China, but it's really about why did you do that? What was the real reason about it? And I think the answer is going to surprise you. So for those of you who haven't followed this channel for a long time, I capped a phrase called the Great Wall of China because when you got hurt so bad by a narcissist, you got attacked so much, you finally just put up the wall and you just put it all the way around you like the Great Wall of China. It was super thick, super tall, and you're like, I'm done opening up to people, and you went into what we call isolation. And one of the reasons, this isn't what this video is about, but one of the reasons was to self-heal, to begin to reconnect with yourself and to find yourself and to begin this healing journey, which meant for most of us, we were in there for 3 to 5 years. Now, a lot of you, probably almost all of us, even myself, for months, maybe even a year into it, it's like, why am I so isolated? Like, what is this? We didn't really know what it was other than we were so hurt. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to interact with people anymore because you were going through this transformation, this phase of, okay, who am I? What do I think about this? What do I believe? What are my values? Because all our lives we've been told by other people, i.e. narcissists, that we were wrong, we were bad, and we finally got to the point where we're like, yeah, fine, I'm done, fine, I'm a monster, I'm bad, screw me, I'm the bad guy. So we had gotten so fed up with it because all we've ever done our entire lives is work really hard to be the best person that we could possibly be. No matter what we did, someone found something wrong with us. And then on top of that, there was the games, there was the gaslighting, all the stuff that went on, and we began to start, even on some level, even it was kind of a semi-conscious level or even an unconscious level, we started seeing patterns. We started seeing things that just like, this doesn't make any sense. So on the one hand, I'm the worst person in the world, yet you keep coming around. That doesn't make any sense. Like, you say one thing, but then you do the other. So we started seeing these incongruencies in their messages to us. And what that did was it caused us to go within and to just see things for the way they were versus the way they told us to see them. We had a ton of realizations such as, if I'm such a bad person, then why do you keep coming around? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all.
This is quite amazing.
On the one hand, I'm such a bad person, yet you come to me for love, you come to me for relief, you come to me for energy, you come to me for help, you come to me when you're wounded, when you need someone to be there for you emotionally. Why is that? Because if I'm such a horrible person, I would think I would be the last person that anyone would come to, and yet everyone does. So you started seeing something that was incongruent. It didn't make any sense at all. The pictures didn't match up, and what they were saying didn't match up with their actions at all. And so for the first time in your life, you started doing something that you never ever did ever in your life before. You started questioning things. And technically before that, you just started seeing things for the way that they were. And you started to realize something isn't matching up here. In fact, a lot of some things weren't matching up. Now, a big part of the Great Wall of China journey is, when you do your isolation phase, is you just go back in your memories. You go back, because on the one hand, you've seen, like, okay, one of the things I learned when I was about 28 years old, approximately 28 to 31. I think it was about 31 when I solidified this. I was like, oh, this is an absolute red flag. Now, a red flag to what? I didn't have a name for it. Like, I didn't have a name called narcissist abuse. But it was a red flag of, okay, when this happens, open your eyes, pay attention, because shit's going to happen. Now, that red flag was I began to notice, and it was solidified by the time I was 31 years old, because I took about 3 years once I started to see it go, okay, let me watch this for a while. I started to notice every single time when you first meet someone and they go into the woe is me, the poor me game. Here's what it is in the narcissist community terms, is the feel sorry for me. When they were playing that role of feel sorry for me, it's like, hey, I don't even know you. Now, the funny part about it was I noticed every time I started to date someone like that, or started to help someone like that, or started to befriend someone like that, every time, each and every freaking time, it turned out that this person ended up turning on me, attacking me, had been talking behind my back the entire time I was helping them, and on and on and on, and did all the narcissistic stuff that you guys are aware of. And so, and again, at the time, I didn't call it narcissism. I didn't really know what narcissism was, but I was starting to put the pieces together, and I was like, that's it, I'm done. If someone goes into the poor me game within the first couple days or weeks of knowing them, I'm out. So as you fast forward through the years and years of life, some of us, especially people probably on this channel, is you one day had it. You were like, it wasn't just that red flag, then there was another, and then you found this narcissist abuse community online, and you started learning all this stuff, and you went into the Great Wall of China because you got hurt so bad for the last time. You're like, fine, I'm done. Nobody has to talk to me. My family doesn't have to be around me. That's fine. They don't like me. I'm nothing but bad to. Fine, then I just won't be around. And like for me, I just then don't call me anymore. Stop. Don't send me Christmas gifts. Don't send me Christmas envelopes. Just stop. And then we all noticed a really weird thing, like, oh, well, you're not that bad. Well, and then they try to pull you back in, the whole, what do they call it? The love bombing, devalued, discard, and then the hoovering. And then you were like, oh, okay, well, maybe I misunderstood. And then they did the whole thing again, and they started to hurt you and to devalue you and discard you. And you're like, what the fuck? And you keep getting cycled through this, and you're like, oh, I'm just, like you came to a point where you're like, I am done. And here's why. Because for the first time in your life, you began to value you. You began to protect yourself. You began to stand up for yourself. You got hurt so bad for so long, you're like, that's it, I'm done. I'm done trying to get along with people. I'm done trying to fit in. I'm done trying to do the right thing according to this person, that person. And you started saying, I'm just going to live my life according to me. But there's a twist here, and a really, really good one. The biggest battle, or I don't know if it's a battle, but during that Great Wall of China era of 3 to 5 years of isolating yourself, going to work, going home, avoiding people, not being in relationships or whatever, you just questioned everything. You just said, well, that didn't make sense. On the one hand, they said this, but then they came back for help. They came back for love, and then they brought me gifts when they completely said, don't, get away from me. And oh, we didn't mean it like that. And like you just started to go, none of this made any sense. And I'm going to make sense of that right now. I'm going to make it clear so you can see things in a much clearer way. So things begin to fall into place, so you can hear what's going on in a very, very clear way. Alright, so I wrote a couple things down. I'm just going to read it off and then I'm going to get to it. So, you don't know how valuable you are. Now, that's a really nice thing to say, and you hear it from people online. Oh, you're so valuable and your light is so amazing. And it's like, I really don't think that they even actually understand what they're saying, because not a single one of them did I ever go, oh, okay, that's what it is. No, I just thought, oh, it's an ego stroke. Oh, they're just saying, oh, you're so amazing. You're just so great, without any substance behind it. And that's the turn or the twist I'm going to get to in a couple seconds here. Okay, let me read off a couple sentences. I've isolated it very narrow here. So you don't know how valuable you are. You just gave it away, thinking it's not of value. Yet, that's why others kept coming to you, or why they keep coming to you for your help, for your love, for your energy, for your nurturing, for your healing. They heal from your energy. The energy you held that they said was bad, yet it was the very reason they strongly kept coming back to you. Even years and years later, even when they discarded you, then they needed your love. It's weird. Why didn't they call that other person that lives next door? Why didn't they call their best friend? Why didn't they call their wife or their girlfriend or whoever? Why do they keep coming back to you, even though you haven't even spoke to them in months, maybe even years? Why you? Now, this is where the whole confusion part is created. This is why you didn't understand it, yet they did. They were very aware. They've always been aware. In fact, a lot of people, even people that just meet you for the first time or maybe second time, it's very obvious to them. But here's what they did, from family members to siblings to cousins, relatives, people that were turned against you your entire life. So you gotta understand, like, in my family, they turned my cousins, my relatives, my best friends, everyone against me. Now, at the time, I didn't know what was going on. Now, as the years went on, people would say, well, your mom said this about you. And I was like, and I used to like, no, she didn't. Why? And I would literally argue to defend. Oh, she would never say something like that about me. And yet, years later, my mom finally admitted it to me. And so did my little sister. She said, yeah, we did that your entire life since you were a little kid. That's why no one liked you. One of the games they used to play on me, especially when I became an adult and I had my own place, was my older siblings would call me up very angry, and two of them specifically, and they would be very angry, like, why aren't you spending time with mom? Why aren't you going over there? And why? I'm like, because 6 months ago, the both of you called me and said, never come around again, and don't go over there. You're hurting our feelings, and yet nobody will tell me what it is that I'm doing, and that's part of the gaslighting. Nobody will ever tell you what you've done. Because once you know, then you can correct it. They don't want that. Because they know you actually didn't do anything wrong. This is the game. So then I would go over there and spend time with her, and literally within days, and I mean 2 or 3 days, boom, I'd get these phone calls. What are you doing going over seeing mom? How could you do this to her? And I'm like, do what? What's going on? She invited me over tomorrow. Like, she was happy. Like, well, and it was just like what? It was so confusing. On the one hand, you're not spending time with her. Now you are. Get away. It was this back and forth. Well, this game that they play. I believe it's called the push and pull technique, where you push them away and then later on pull them in with love. Oh, we miss you. Oh, mom misses you. Oh, and then next thing you know, they strike. And they hurt you again, leaving you completely lost, confused, like, I don't understand. Because they won't tell you anything about what you actually did. It's just, you're a bad person, you've hurt them. You're like, well, we were just getting along, everything was fine, but that's not what's said behind the scenes. In fact, the other people, they're all in on it. Now, this is what we call gaslighting. It's a very specific technique that narcissists use to confuse you. And here's another one they pull on you, and this is why you went into the Great Wall of China, to discover something. So remember earlier on when I said, like, this is the other reason why you went into isolation, why you surrounded yourself by the Great Wall of China and you didn't talk to people for a long time. Your brain was mulling through all this stuff, and there was, not only were you protecting yourself, nurturing yourself, and going through a long healing process, you were looking for something. Now, there's a series of things. You were looking for clarity, you were looking for understanding, and it's like you found a bunch of things that started giving you clarity, but there was really something that you were looking for, even though you didn't quite realize it. And I bet a lot of you found it, but didn't really understand what it was that you found. Because most of your life, you felt bad about yourself. Most of your life, you thought everyone hated you. Most of your life, you felt like you weren't good enough. Like there was this like sucker punch in your gut, like something, it always was tight, it always hurt. You just had this anxiety no matter where you went, what you were doing, who you were with. You just felt like there was something wrong about you. And that's why they do this gaslighting. This is why they never tell you what you did wrong. Or this is why they do this back and forth push and pull thing. On the one hand, get away, you're a horrible monster, you're hurting people, you're doing this. And then they pull you back in. It is a game of confusion because they don't want you to see what you have. And that's what I'm going to reveal to you, hopefully in a way that you finally receive it and understand it and feel it. Now, as I said earlier, you've heard a lot of YouTubers say, oh, you're so special, you got the light, and you're this and that, but you didn't, it's still, like, I know for me, I was like, oh, that's nice, yeah, you just give me an ego stroke trying to boost my self-esteem or whatever. I really, really, really didn't get it. And I have a feeling a lot of you still don't get it. Yeah, that was me pounding on the table. Emphasizing this. Alright, let me read this off and then I'm going to get into it. So, here's what it is. The reason why you went into the Great Wall of China, the ultimate reason, there's a bunch of learnings, lessons, realizations that stack upon each other that free you emotionally, free you from their games and their bullshit, and you see things for the way they are. You start seeing the mind games, the gaslighting, you start seeing the red flags, but there's something that there's a core purpose for going into that isolation, or what I call the Great Wall of China. Okay, let me read it off now. So the energy that you held, the energy that you hold that they said was bad, yet it was the very reason they strongly kept coming back to you, continually coming back to you, even years and years later. Your energy is healing. Your energy, you have the energy of Christ. You have the energy, I'm trying to find another word for it, of the heavens. You have this nurturing, loving energy that makes people feel good. No matter what's going on in their life, how hurt they are, what problems they're in, your energy makes everything right. Your energy not only makes them feel good emotionally, their gut relaxes, they feel relaxed, they're energized, and people suddenly want to be around them when they get around you. But when you pulled away, their whole world fell apart. But they don't want you to know that. The game is to convince you that you're this horrible, monstrous person, that nobody would accept you, and therefore you would avoid people, and therefore they would have you solely to themselves, and nobody would be around to point out, like, you do realize you're way more valuable than that person over there. That person's just using you. That person's just sucking the life force out of you. They don't want people around you. They don't want people waking you up. I remember people, okay, here's an example. I was on this job site of carpet. I'd been doing carpet for years and years, and the boss was barely paying me above minimum wage. Yeah, doing carpet labor, hard labor. And this was after 2.5 years, and we went on a job with my brother-in-laws, and that's how I got into it, because they've been in carpet their whole life. And I got hooked up with one of their buddy Gillies from high school. Now, we drove like 2 hours away, and they're like, "Oh, Gilly, what's up? What's up?" So anyways, we had worked for a couple of days, and at lunch break, Gilly's like, "Dude, your brother, like me, talking about me, he's fast, man. That's the fastest worker I've ever been around." And Gilly kept telling me, like, "Dude, slow down. You don't have to go that fast." I'm like, "I think it's just the way I do it." And so he was telling my brother, like, "No, he's not. He's slow, dude. He's slow." And that's all I ever heard. That's all I ever heard. And Gilly's like, "Shut up. No, he's not. What are you talking about?" And so then when we went back in to work, Gilly's like, "Dude, don't listen to those guys. Like, you are literally the fastest guy I've ever worked with, and I've been in this business for over 10 years. See, here's what happened. After hearing that for years, 2 years plus, every job site I've ever worked on, I was like, no matter how fast I work, I'm still slow. So I began to believe that my effort, my energy was just horrible, and I was so far behind, I didn't deserve a raise, and blah, 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 blah. And so then Gilly brought it up again at the next day's lunch break, and they're like, "What are you talking?" He goes, "How much?" And he said it out loud in front of my brother-in-laws, because he was trying to figure something out. So he said in front of my brother-in-law, he said, "How much are you making?" "You making about $22 an hour." I was like, $22? Are you freaking high? And he's like, "Well, they're paying you at least 20, right?" I'm like, "Hell no." He goes, "They're only paying you $19. And I'm like, 19? I wish. He goes, "Well, they're paying you at least 17, right?" And I'm like, "Not even close." He goes, "How much are they paying you?" And I told him, at the time, I think it was $6.50 or $6 an hour. He was like, "What?" He was minimum starting at 9. So that was the whole thing. Like, they didn't want me to know my value, because then I could charge for it. And then I could go to the boss and say, "Hey, man." Now, why my brother-in-laws never told me, I don't know, because it didn't affect them. What I got paid didn't affect them at all. So Gilly told me, we went back to work. He goes, "Dude," he goes, "tomorrow morning," he goes, "don't come back." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "You tell your boss you want a minimum $15 raise immediately. If he doesn't give it to you, do not come back." Now, this is how they can say, okay, so here's another thing. All they would ever do is talk shit about me, tell me I'm no good, tell me I'm slow. But it wasn't just in this situation, it was my family. It was even because they were my brother-in-laws, it was the same thing in the family dynamics, whether we're having a barbecue, a family birthday. It was always a cut down. Everything was a cut down, everything. And yet, everybody wanted me around. So here's the deal. I'm using that as a metaphor. Because what they do is, on the one hand, they're telling you that you, the core you, is so horrible, so bad, that nobody likes you, you're no good, why are you, how can you be this way? And yet, who do they call when they're all alone? You. Who do they want to come over when they're all alone to go to lunch with them? You. Who do they call when they want a shoulder to cry on? You. Who do they run to when there's an emergency? You. Funny thing is, they don't call the police, they call you. Isn't that kind of odd? When they need love, when they need nurturing, especially when they need emotional support, they don't go to those other people. So here's what I'm trying to say. That energy that you held, just like my work skills, I just thought, man, I must suck, because that's all I hear is like, I'm no good, I'm slow, I'm this. And no matter how hard I worked, it made me feel like I was no good. When in fact, I was way better than what they were giving off. Like way better, not even close to what they were paying me. But again, they don't want you to know that. It's the same thing with your energy, or call it your light, your spiritual energy, your nurturing, your loving, your love. They don't want you to know how valuable your energy is. So what they did, now this is the mind game. Not only did they get the gaslighting, but it goes beyond that. They constantly told you that you were no good, just like me at the work. They convinced you that you, your energy, your being, your essence, your nature is bad, like it's low level, like it's dark. When in truth, it was good and it is good. See, here's how it works. So on the one hand, you tune into your own energy field around your body, your feelings, your emotions that they want. And they tell you that is bad. So then they've labeled it, but you accepted the label, being like, oh, so this is bad. Oh, this is no good. Oh, okay. So every time you start to feel good about yourself, you're like, no, that's bad. So every time you start to be happy, enjoy your life, every time you start to feel loving feelings, oh yeah, that's bad, that's no good. Yeah, they have connected, this means bad, even though this is really, really good. Now here's the kicker. The thing that they labeled as bad, your energy, your emotions, your light, your love, is the very, very thing that they value more than anything else on the planet, more than gold, more than diamonds, more than their family, more than their friends. Everything. Without you, they can't survive. They literally fall apart. See, you have gold. You literally have gold, your energy, your emotions, your feelings. Okay, every time I run into an empath, it's pretty obvious because they really light up their room. They make people happy, and they're really good at bringing this happiness and joy into the room, into the work, into wherever, into people's lives. Nobody else can do that for them. You're a star, you have gold inside you, and they know it, but they don't want you to know it. So they constantly cut you down, everything you do, especially when you're happy and not making them happy. They will hurt you for that. They will make you feel bad about it. And that's what they do. They make you feel bad about enjoying life. Because they want to make sure that you're there on reserves, waiting for them to call you up to come make them feel better when someone else hurt them, when someone else did them wrong, when they lost a job opportunity, when they got fired, when something bad happened to them. They want you to come along to make them feel better. And this is why it was so confusing, because on the one hand, they treated you like crap. On the other hand, every time they needed someone, you were the one that they went to. You were always their go-to person. And it wasn't one person. It was your brothers, your sisters, your friends, sometimes even teachers, schoolmates, all kinds of people. You are valuable. You are gold. You literally are the light. You have this energy in you. I'm just going to say it like this. You have this energy about you, this way about you that feels good. It makes people feel good. You bring people up. You bring happiness and joy into people's lives. That is the most valuable commodity in the world. Because if it was gold, they would have gone to their gold jewelry, their gold rings, their gold and diamonds. Gold and diamonds can't make people feel good about themselves. Gold and diamonds can't uplift people and make them happy, especially after they've owned it for a week or two. You know how in the Bible it talks about the morning star, Lucifer morning star? Well, Jesus was also called the morning star, but he overcame and then he became the evening star. You are the evening star, and you always have been since the day that you were born. All that other stuff was just one lie after another. They're the ones that are down in the muck. They're the ones who can't make themselves happy. They're the ones who always need someone to nurture them, to heal them, to make them feel better. And then what do? Once you make them feel better, they hurt you and send you on your way. No more. Never again. Your cutoff game from this point forward has to be awesome. You notice someone's lied to you 2 or 3 times? Done. Cut them off. You notice someone's gaslighted you once or twice? Done. Cut them off. You notice someone's played games with you? Done. 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 Cut them off. Cut them off. Cut them off. When you went into that Great Wall of China, you began to finally protect that light. You brought the light back inside instead of just giving it to everyone you ran into. You don't do it at the grocery store anymore. You don't do it at the gas station. You don't do it when you meet a total stranger who's playing the woe is me game. You get up and you walk away. You began to preserve that light. You brought it back in and you wrapped your arms and your energy and your hands around it to protect it for you. From this point forward, it is an equal exchange. If they are not exchanging something in return for it, then you cut them off. Period. I don't care who it is. This even includes the spouse. Spouses are supposed to give back to you energetically, financially, whatever the arrangement is. You have the most valuable commodity on the planet, more valuable than oil, more valuable than gold, more valuable than anything. You literally have the light. You have what everybody wants. This is why people work so hard to get that expensive car, that multi-million-dollar home, that big bank account, because they want to feel good. That's what you have. You have everything that everyone's working their ass off for. It is valuable. Make them earn it. Period. No freebies from now on. You make someone happy, they make you happy. You bring good energy into the conversation, they bring good energy into the conversation. If not, walk and block permanently. Be cold, be reserved, hold back. Protect your light. God bless you guys. If you need coaching, if you need emotional healing, energy healing, or communication coaching, get a hold of me. This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. If you enjoyed this video, please click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment. And remember, if you want to, go ahead and make a donation. There's a PayPal link right there in the description box. God bless you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.